All right, greetings, 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 one and all. Here we are for another interesting conversation. Hope everybody's doing great. Represent your city, represent your city. So I developed a new philosophy, ideology that I am going to share with you all tonight. We have Indianapolis in the building, everybody on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, on both of my Facebook accounts. Good to see you all. I'm representing Chicago. We got the NOLA in the building. We have Fresno in the house. We have North Miami Beach in the building. We have New Orleans in the house. We have Greensboro. We got the ATL in the building. Let me see. Who else we got here? Yeah. I'm going to premiere my new ideology and philosophy I just created. Indianapolis is here. Cleveland is here. Chicago's in the building. Fairborn's in the building. Lancaster is in the house. Rep your city. Rep your city. This is going to be kind of interesting for the younger people coming up. Something you all are going to have to listen to me close and adapt what I'm saying so that you won't be bombarded with the generation ideology. A lot of the generation ideology is not realistic. When we talk about generations, we always talk about them based on what actually happened over a certain period of time, but not based on what a generation should have done. The idea of a generation should have done something is ridiculous. That's an unrealistic, ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. I had somebody say it to me, and I thought about it for days. I said, I said, what the heck is that? And so thinking about that, like I do, I think deeply, and I've come up with an ideology based on that ridiculous concept. And we're going to get into it. You hear it all the time. Your generation is like, let me ask you something. Be specific. What generation is mine? What generation is my generation? Right? What generation is my generation? I must have missed it. Does anybody know which generation is my generation? Which generation is mine? And do they know they're mine? Where can I find them best? Well, I need to find my generation. I need to find them. Unbelievable. Yeah, I need to find. I missed out. I missed my generation. We didn't get together and do anything. We should have had generation meetings. People say ridiculous. That is one of the most ridiculous ideologies. This is when you're just talking. My generation, who the hell is that? Did any of y'all grow up and try to get your generation to do something? Like, did you say, hey, we're having a meeting, a generation meeting, and we want this generation to come. I didn't do any generation stuff. All my stuff was single solo stuff, like a dad with a wife, children. All my stuff was just like me and my children and my woman. I didn't know. I was raising children that would be uh, uh, categorized as growing up in a different generation, but I wasn't really generation hunting. So I don't know. I'm confused. That's a make believe concept. Seriously. That's a make believe concept that they probably said on Walter Cronkite or somebody way back on ABC News and the generation, the 1960s generation. But now we're way more intelligent and we know that doesn't exist. But we're going to talk about it. Generations for me is always looking back, is never nothing that you could do. It was always looking back to see what naturally occurred. I thought when you talk about generations, I thought you talk about what naturally and organically occurred. I didn't think it was something that people could get together and accomplish something as a generation. Now, this conversation has come from me talking about music and how we don't have music in the schools and stuff like that, and nobody plays music. And I had this weird guy. He said, "Your generation, this is your generation's fault that nobody knows how to play any music." And I said, "What the hell is he?" It sounded crazy, right? It sounded absolutely crazy. So I'm trying to figure out what the hell. And so it intrigued me. So I still been thinking about it because I said, what the hell is that? So I still been thinking about it. I still been thinking about it. My generation, what the hell? What? So he tried to say that my generation is the reason that children don't still play instruments, which sounds absolutely crazy. I said, now this is a person that's just talking out the top of their head and trying to insult me because the conversation is too highly intelligent for them and they're trying to point fingers at something, but the fingers are crooked and broke, you know. But it still intrigued me. It sounded crazy then. I'm like, okay, this is a loser. Okay, bro, what are you talking about? What? My generation? I don't even know my generation. I've never hung out with them. As a matter of fact, my wife was 15 years younger than me. I don't think was in my generation. I don't know. But we're going to break it down. So I've been thinking about it. So I created a philosophy, right? I created a philosophy because I was thinking about it. I said, my generation, I kept saying, what the hell is that? I've been thinking about that since that weirdo said it. I'm like, my generation, my generation, my generation. So let's just deal with what they said first. I was talking about music. I played trumpet and when we were young, let me paint the picture. When we were young, we were going to a grade school. And when I got like in the fifth grade, they brought a program to the school and said they're going to teach the children music. Like the fifth grade, which means the generation before me dropped the ball. I guess, what the hell, right? So I should blame the generation before me because they didn't have that until I was in the fifth grade. Oh, cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. It sounds crazy, right? And so they gave us some letters. I went and took it to my mother. She said, "Oh, yeah, okay. What instrument you want to play?" I said, "The trumpet." So they had a way where I think our parents paid so much a month and they rent us a trumpet. I think with the option to buy the trumpet. And all the little children, we got instruments and we had a little band. It's like fifth grade, right? So we had a band and I played trumpet fifth grade, sixth grade. But when I went to Lutheran school, seventh and eighth grade, they didn't have that program. I guess that generation at the Lutheran school dropped the ball, right? You see this? See how stupid it sounds? You see how stupid that sounds? It's crazy. But when I got to high school, they had a band, so I got in the high school band, right? I always like to play music. I played guitar, and I couldn't play. I went to take guitar lessons, but I couldn't really play the guitar good. Found out later that bass was more me. The six strings wasn't me. But to make a long story short, I played in a high school band, got out, worked for a year, went to Vandercook College of Music. My generation didn't send me. You know what I'm saying? My generation had nothing to do with it, right? There was a lot of generations at the college, actually. But okay, I guess. And so I went to Vandercook College of Music. I took classical, learned how to play. I went 1 year, and that 1 year that 1 year, I had to take tuba, trombone, clarinet, saxophone, piano, my major trumpet, flute, music theory, choir, orchestra, where we had the whole orchestra in the gym, and so I think some science and some history, music history. It was the music history that made me quit going to college because they was like, music started in Europe and stuff like that. I'm like 19, 18, 19, right? I've already been listening to, Gil Scott Heron and, some positive last poets. So I'm getting some knowledge. I don't have it there, but I know, so I became frustrated. I couldn't keep going. I had to find out about being black. So I kind of OD'd on European school. I couldn't take it. I had like an A minus with only about 2 weeks to finish that freshman year. I would get on the bus, get off at the library on 95th, and I went in there, I read Malcolm X Speaks. I just couldn't take it no more. It was just too white, too much whites did everything, right? I couldn't take it. So I didn't finish. Who cares? But I could have went a couple 2 weeks, but I made the right move. I went and read Malcolm. I turned red, black, and green, and the rest is history. But I always played music. I started growing my dreadlocks, ran into some Jamaicans. They knew I told them I played trumpet. They wanted me to play trumpet in a reggae band. blah, blah, blah. Next thing I end up in Hawaii. I'm playing bass array. I'm playing the reggae bands. The rest is history. But growing up, since I'm telling the story, in the neighborhood in Maple Park back then, 1960s, mid 60s, the mid 60s through the 80s, this was a housing development. This was houses. And the young brothers, the brothers older than me, if I'm in the sixth grade, okay, if I'm 12, or let's say if I'm 13, the 17-year-olds, the 16 and 17-year-olds had bands, right? So across the street from me on Aberdeen, Jay Hawkins had a band. And we would go in the alley and listen to the bands. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we would go in the alley and listen to the bands. I mean, they were good. And in those days, this is in the 70s, they had talent shows. So at Higgins School, right there on Morgan, between Morgan and Carpenter on 117th, they would have talent shows. And you could go, and the brothers and sisters that had bands or dance and sing would come. And I mean, they were good. I mean, they was young, they was teenagers, but they sound like the pros. They took it serious. And they be in the band, boom, 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 boom. Oh, do the tighten up, do the tight. Sometimes the real band, somebody from the real band would come and watch them. The biggest in Chicago was Limblom. Limblom High School every year had a talent show that was crazy. And bands and singers and dancers from all over Chicago would participate. These are young people. These are teenagers. These ain't adults. These are teenagers. So that was a part of the culture. Bands everywhere. And the band era began to fade out in the Black community when you get to the 80s. As you get to the 80s, now this is another thing when a person say your generation is not, it's the next group of adults. See, they don't understand, because those of us that's playing music, we're not the ones responsible for playing music. So when he says my generation wasn't even responsible for us playing music. It was the older generation. So my mother and them in that generation, that was the generation that grew up to Tyrone Davis, Smokey Robinson, the Four Tops, the Temptations. That group loved music a lot. And so their children played music, right? As my parents and them got older, I'm still just a teenager. So the next group, that's why I want to talk about generations, because generations are not what they tell you. Generations are quicker than what they tell you. They're telling you a generation that's 20 or 30 years. That's a lie. Every year is a new generation. And I'm going to break that down, because when my parents have us at 5, have me, by the time I'm 5 years old, by the time I get in high school, there is already a new group of adults having children. Seriously. It's already different. It's already a whole new group. And so when people use the word generation, it's not accurate. I'm going to break that down tonight. What we've been taught about generations is totally inaccurate. So when the person say my generation is the ones that dropped the ball, the reality is right? By the time I got to high school, they didn't have the band program anymore. Now I'm in high school. And so by the time I get in high school, none of the children, none of the younger children in my neighborhood is playing music anymore. What's going on, Job Bunny? Salute. Right? Seriously. Now, you can't say my generation dropped the ball when it comes to music because by the time I got in high school, they had ended the music program for the other young children that's in the 6th and 7th grade. I'm a freshman. So in the Black community, the effort to play music was already gone. By the time I got 18, 19, the only Black people that were playing instruments was the Jamaicans, the Rastas. Rastas was the only ones playing music still. Now, you still had bands that played behind, R&B singers, but I'm talking about I'm talking about young people. By the time you get to 1966, 67, 68, the only young people in the United States of America, young people, because I played in a reggae band with my elder Josh Stone was older than me, Gilly was older than me, but the bass player, the keyboard player, and the guitar player, they was in grade school. These are the ones that taught me about Haile Selassie, some kids. Yeah, they was in grade school. I swear on everything I love. The two older brothers would be home. I would go, we wait to play band practice. And John and Timai and Dada, they was in grade school. That's who first showed me Haile Selassie. Some young Rastas in grade school. I swear on everything. They're like, Ramesses, you know who this is? I'm like, no, who was that? They're like, that's Haile Selassie. I said, let me look at that. They said, that's the King of Kings. I said, what? They said, no, that's the Black King of Kings. So I'm looking at him and I'm saying, wait a minute. It's a Black dude that's the King of the Kings? So I was with it right off the top. Because my thing was, I never heard of Marcus Garvey. I never heard of Haile Selassie as a Black American. Never heard of him. So me, I'm kind of like a radical. So when the fact that I had heard of them, I knew, oh, these dudes is somebody. Or why y'all hiding them? Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm messing with these two because why y'all hiding them? Because I'm thinking every Black kid should know it was a King of Kings, an emperor. Like Black kids don't know it's a King of Kings. That blew my mind. But my point is, the people that showed me that they was children, they was in school, they was in grade school. Because the only people that was really playing music as far as young people was the Jamaicans. The Jamaicans was the only kids playing music and teenagers on everything. On everything I love in the 70s across America, not in Chicago, across the whole United States. Everywhere you go to New York, you go to Miami, you go to St. Louis, you go to LA, wherever, it's some Jamaican young people playing music. I swear to God. And they was good. They was real. They could play too. They could play. I'm saying all that to say that Black Americans, kids wasn't playing music. By the time I get like 19, 20, they had stopped all the programs. A younger group of parents came up and they was haters. That's one of the main reasons they didn't support the music programs at the school. And the next generation, younger than my parents, was haters. Your son got his trumpet, they beating on the floor. Cut it out, Whereas when I was coming up, we play music, make noise. The parents didn't care. So that's another thing about generations. You can't call my parents a generation when the parents right under them were totally different. Now, if my parents is here and there's another group of parents and they're different, but I'm still a teenager, how could you say anything about my generation when there's 3, 4, 5 different groups of parents before I'm even an adult? We didn't even grow up with the same type of parents in the community. Because my father's born, mother born in the 30s. The parents that was born in the late 30s and the 40s, they was different. The ones born in the mid 40s, different again. The ones born in the 50s, different. So when they say a generation is, 20, 30 years, that's bull. Ain't no generation on 20. That's bullshit. Okay, I can't say another way. That is nonsense. That's incorrect. We're gonna have to change that. A generation is every year, and I'm gonna break every year is another generation. In other words, when I'm a freshman, right? When you're a freshman, you go to high school, you get some influence from sophomores and juniors. You do not get any type of contact with seniors. Most of the people you're around is freshmen, you're a freshman, sophomore, and juniors. Most of your brothers and sisters, right, are either 1 or 2 years older than you or 1 or 2 years younger than you in a black family. So when I became a sophomore, my sister was a freshman. But the reason I say every year is a different generation is because when I'm a freshman, my sister is not being influenced by the sophomores and juniors. She's around 7th graders, 6th graders. By the time I become a junior, the new group is coming in. When I'm a freshman, I'm part of a specific group coming out of 8th grade as a freshman and getting some influence from sophomores and juniors. But when my sister comes, she's getting influenced by 8th graders, but those 8th graders were 7th graders when I was there. And those sophomores and juniors that's influenced her ain't the same sophomores and juniors that influence me. So every group is getting a total different experience in life. My sister, I swear to God, my sister is 1 year younger than me. And we had some of the same influences, but we're not really alike. We didn't really have the exact same childhood because I'm a year older, so I'm outside first. By the time she comes outside, things are changing a little bit. I'm going to be really running around with people 2 years older than me, but she going to be running around people up to 2 years older than her. Those people would be 3 years older than her. She not running around with them. Those people that's 3 years older than her are influenced by people that's 4 and 5 years older than them. So that is a totally psychologically different experience. Think about it. We are all a generation, whatever year you was born. Not no 30 years, a generation is every year. is a different generation. Think about it. Think about the year you was born. There wasn't nobody like y'all. The kids a year older than y'all, and the kids a year younger than you was not like all of y'all that was the same age. So let me break it down. They say with these expectations that they have on past generations is false because they don't know who's what past generation. What's a past generation? I'm 68 years old. Let's say I'm sitting here with a brother 58 years old and you young. And you tell me and him, our generation messed everything up. Me and him ain't the same generation. Yeah, he's 58. He's old to you. He's 58, I'm 68. Me and him do not come from the same life at all. What was a hit record when I was 13 wasn't the same thing that was a hit record when he was 13. The new dance when I was 15 wasn't a new dance when he was 15. The hottest sneakers when I was 15 wasn't the hottest sneakers when he was 15. The best cartoon when I was 15 wasn't the best cartoon when he was 15. The favorite snack when I was 15, it was not the favorite snack of somebody 10 years younger than me when they were 15 years old. As a matter of fact, it changed the next year. It's not all the way the same, and you're surrounded by a different influence. So when they say millennials, that's not realistic. There's no such thing as millennials. What year were you born, newbie of God? Because that's the only thing that's the only group you're in. What year you was born, sweetheart? Because that's your group. You're not a millennial. You're not a millennial. If you was born in 1992, you are a 1992er. And the 1990ers ain't nothing like you. Nothing like you. Think about it. They say that, all right. Now, they'll say you and the people born in 1995 is the same. Is that true? Hell no. Am I lying, Queen? Anybody that wasn't born in 1995 ain't nothing like you. Not even if they was born in 1994 or 1996, they ain't nothing like you. Am I lying? A little bit, but not to the point where they can call you a group. They can't call you. Only one they can call a group is the ones you graduated with. Am I lying? It changes. Because when you're a freshman, newbie ago, you're going to come to high school and you're going to be mostly around sophomores and juniors. Right? Right? When you was a freshman and you come to high school and get your influence, you came to high school when you was in 8th grade, you was getting some energy from 7th graders. Then you go to high school, you're going to be around sophomores and juniors. When that next group come to high school and you become a sophomore, they're going to be influenced by sophomores and juniors. But the juniors that influence you are now seniors. The songs change. Everything changes. Every year is a generation. Whatever they're teaching is false. You cannot lump no years together. You can't. I was born in 1958, and you cannot really lump me with people born in 59 or people born in 57. We are not the same. We have some of the same experiences, but no, we're not the same. Every year is another generation. That's the new philosophy that I'm bringing to the table. And I'm willing to go to any panel with any white professors or any historians any day and debate this. Because if a generation is based off of experiences, the only people who have the same experiences is the same year. Those are the only people who have the same experiences. Anybody from a different year does not have your experience at all. If the parents let you come outside and play a lot and have a little freedom at 7, when you come outside at 7, it ain't necessarily the same way it was for your big brother when he came out at 7. If he 9, if your brother 2 years older than you, when he came outside at 7, 2 years later when you came outside, it ain't the same. It's not the same. It might be a little bit, but it's not the same. That's how you can look up. If you think I'm lying, look, let's take a situation where I come up, children out playing, hide and go seek, catch a girl, kiss a girl, mother may I, captain may I, playing. Eventually that disappeared, right? Which means if that disappeared, that slowly what? Disintegrated. Well, if that activity slowly disintegrated, that means each child born was born in a disintegrating form of that until some were born and that didn't even exist. For example, I would take my daughter to get candy for Halloween, right? Nobody was giving out candy. That slowly, when I was little, 5, 6, 7 years old, when Christmas come, every house had Christmas decorations. Every house gave out Halloween candy. By the time I had my first child, nobody was doing it, which means that slowly disappeared, right? Well, if that slowly disappeared, that means each year was a different experience. Even the ones older than me that was there when that grew. The ones that came from the South that's older than me, they were here during a growing period. So the children a little bit older than me, their experience was different than mine too. And so when they be having expectations for generations, that's not realistic. Because new generations constantly start. And every it's not every 30 years, every 20, 30 years. That's totally I have nothing in common with anybody born 5 years after me. Not alone 10 or 20 years. I'm not in that group. Look, how am I in a group with people 20 to 30 years older than me? Ain't no way. We don't have anything in common. We're not no generation. We're not a generation. Now look. Let me give you an example. when I used to go to the South to Alabama, that was in the 60s. This is Alabama, 1960s. This is Chicago bus, 1970s. There was a certain year in Chicago where they got all new buses with air conditioning. So you telling me that if I was a boy and I was older than my sister and I rode on this bus, and when it was time for her to ride on the bus, they had all new buses with air conditioning. You telling me and her is the same generation? Ain't no way. No, we're not the same generation. How? How? How are we the same? How are we the same generation? Even when you come to the phone, if you're born and your mother got this phone, and you call and the phone ring, and if don't nobody pick it up, right? Then you have to call back, right? So let's say I'm in school, my mama got this phone. When the phone ring, if she don't pick it up, you got to call back. Now let's say they start selling answering machines that next year, and my mama buy an answering machine, and my sister a year younger than me, and my sister's friends call her, and nobody home, the answering machine come on. I'm me and my sister from the same generation. No, that next year, if I'm a freshman and I got this phone, right? If I'm a freshman, and when I'm a freshman, this the phone we got. And my friend trying to call to see if I'm on my way to the mall. And the phone ringing, nobody answers it. And he just got to wait to see if I show up. And then a few months later, my mother get an answering machine. My sister's a year younger than me. That next year, my sister's a freshman. When her friends call, they can leave a message. Are me and my sister from the same generation? 1 year apart. When I'm a freshman, the phone ring, don't nobody answer it, nobody's home. The next year, my sister's a freshman. The phone ring, but you can leave a message. Mommy got an answering machine. Are me and my sister from the same generation? No. I'm from the 1958 generation, and she's from the 1959 generation. Tell me I'm lying. How could you categorize us together? We have totally different experiences in life, 1 year apart. They say we the same generation for 20, 30 years. Okay. Let's say 10 years later, my cousin come up. When I was his age, we had this phone. My cousin 10 years behind me, he got that phone. We the same generation? We the same generation. If when I was 15, I had to answer this phone. And when my cousin was 15, he answered that phone. That's the same generation. Because they say a generation is 20, 30 years. If you're 10 years apart and one had to answer this phone and the other one answered that phone, is that the same generation? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Yes or no? That's the same generation? Yes or no? 10 years apart. They say 20 years. 5 years apart. 5 years apart. If I was with this phone, I got a cousin 5 years younger than me. I'm 15. My mama got this phone answer machine. He 15, 5 years later, and he got this phone. We the same generation? They talking about 20, 30 years. So if you had this phone 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and now you got this phone, y'all the same generation? Man, they need to stop. They need to stop. Let me tell you something. A generation is every year. If I'm a freshman in high school and I got the iPhone 13, and that next year my sister's a freshman and she got the iPhone 14, we is not the same generation. I don't know. How we the same generation? The new phone for me was the iPhone 13, was the newest, hottest thing. The next year, my sister freshman is the iPhone 14. We not the same. My sister looking at my iPhone 13, she got an iPhone 14. She talking about they not like us. They not like us. Dun, 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 dun. She looking at me like, boy, you a Flintstone. My sister looking at me and her, we definitely ain't the same. With that old ass iPhone 13. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just wanted to drop that on y'all. My new philosophy is every year is a generation. Whatever year you was born, that is your generation. If you're born in 1977, you're the 1977 generation. If you're born in 1987, you are the 1987 generation. Every year is a generation. Every year. Every year is a generation. I tell you something else, I can prove it. When you go to high school and you're a freshman, by the time you become a junior, them freshmen is different. Am I lying? Somebody tell me if I'm lying. When you went to high school and you was a freshman, by the time you became a junior, was them freshmen anything like y'all? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. When you went to high school and you was a freshman, when you was a junior, was those freshmen anything like y'all? No. And when you graduate and you be the first, when you graduate and you're no longer in high school, nobody in the school is like you. The whole class, the whole school is a whole bunch of different people. By the time you graduate from high school and your first year in college, that school they ain't doing nothing y'all used to do. It's a whole different school. Them kids is totally different. They ain't nothing like y'all. When I say nothing like y'all, When you graduated from high school, was there anybody at the high school like y'all? No. They be aliens. Heck, in my generation, when I was a freshman, right? I was a freshman in 1972. When I became a sophomore in 1973, the freshman was taller. When I became a junior, they was taller. And when I became a senior, that's the beginning when we get in the Shaq in them, right? Remember in the NBA, a center was 6'10", 6'11". Man, when I went to school in 72, by the time I graduated in 76, them boys was trees. They got bigger. How we the same generation when dude a freshman and he bigger than the seniors? Who grew up then? Tell I'm lying. Didn't they get bigger from 72 to 76? The freshman was taller than the seniors. If you was a senior in 1976, them freshmen wasn't taller than y'all? Yes. They got bigger and bigger. They got huge. As a matter of fact, when we was a freshman, they had intramural basketball. And in intramural basketball, the freshmen played the juniors, the sophomores played the seniors, and the winners played the teachers. We was freshmen. We played the juniors, blew them off the court. Once we blew the juniors off the court, the juniors beat the sophomores. The seniors played the sophomores. We the freshmen. The freshmen beat the juniors. The seniors played the sophomore. The seniors beat the sophomore. So the big game was the seniors against the freshmen. We blew the freshmen off the court. Then we had to play the teachers, and we blew the teachers off the court. The freshmen was better than everybody in the whole damn school. How we the same generation? When I was a freshman, we beat everybody. We stomped the seniors, the juniors, and we ran over the seniors, and we crushed the teachers. First time it had ever happened. How we the same generation? They stopped it, and then the people made it on the team couldn't play. Only people not on the team. Ain't no way we would have beat. When I was a sophomore, we might have been able to compete with the freshmen a little bit. But when I was a junior, there ain't no way we would have beat them freshmen. Them freshmen was looked like they came from the pros. When I was a junior, we would have not beat them freshmen. When I was a senior, we wouldn't have beat the freshmen or the sophomores. We might have been a little competition for the juniors, and they might have beat us too. Because they just got bigger and bigger and different and different. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all about generations, because I think we got to change that concept. We're influenced by different people, and every year is a specific group. I think that's more wholesome, and I think that's way more accurate, because whatever year you was born, you're a unique group of people. You need to be categorized by that. There's things that happen during your life at that particular age that only happened for you at that age. It might have happened for somebody else, but they was at a different age. So we have experiences at different age, and we're all having a unique experience at a different age. And an experience that you have at one age might not affect you as much as that same experience for a different age. That experience is going to be different. So if your brother's 12 and you 13, you might really be in the NBA. So if you're watching the NBA close and it's 1996, it's going to affect you more than your little brother because he not watching it like that in 1996. He ain't going to be really on it until 1997. It's a different experience. And so, no, a generation can't do nothing to change anything because by the time you become a productive adult, how many generations you got under you? Because I had somebody say, my generation didn't do this and that. Listen, my generation, me, when you say, what did I do for young people? What can hell could I do for young people? When we going to start being realistic? I grow up. I become adult. I have children. I end up with 6 children. A wife. Wives, because a couple of relationships didn't work out. What can I do for people outside when I'm trying to pay my bills, take my children to school, deal with my wife, pick her up from work, drop her off, get food? Where would this extra time come for me to go out and save the world? In a real life, y'all had time to save the world when y'all got off work and went home and had to feed them children. You had time to go outside and say, man, am I the only one who ain't had no time to go out and save nobody? I have 6 children. The only time I would have had to go out and save the world is when the last baby went her ass to college. I might have been, and by then, I was in my 50s. No, I was in my 60s. I was 60. So when I got 60, I might have been able to save the world, the children. Yeah, but other than that, I had babies to raise in a real world. I couldn't be in no situation to find no people. Come on, y'all, let's get together and do something. They said, well, Pharaoh, you wasn't working with no group. Yeah, I was working with a group. My wife and the children, we was a group. I was with a group. Bills got to be paid. Mortgage got to be paid. Rent got to be paid. Car notes got to be paid. Car insurance got to be paid. And these things trump everything in your life. And we're fortunate that some people have time to get in organizations and try to help the community. But that ain't nothing that everybody could do. In my particular situation with the last child, hey, man, the mama's at work. The children get off of school when you're supposed to be at work. I work for myself, so I would be able to drop her off at school and pick her up. I lived on 116th. My youngest went to school at Limboom because she was super smart and she wanted to go where they had robotics and engineering and all that. So she had to go to a neighborhood that was far from where we live. So my life was based on Monday through Friday, taking her to school, coming home working for myself, taking my break, picking her up. That was my life. I had to drive from 116th all the way down there to the 60s to pick her up from school every day. And so it's an insult to be like, oh, what did you do for the community? Hey, our children are the community. What are you talking about? Our wives, our husbands are the community. What I do for the community, when I started going live, my daddy was right over me dying, basically. Dementia and Alzheimer's. I had to take care of him. I had to wash him. I had to bathe him. So I could have left my daddy just up there and went out and saved the world? Huh? I could have left my daddy up there. I could have left my children at school and went and taught music somewhere in a make-believe world. Don't let nobody shame you because you don't have no time to go out and do no community service and stuff like that, as hard as it is to survive. Remember something, you are the community service. Your children is community service. Your husband, your wife, your mom and daddy, your elders you trying to take care of. That's community service. Yeah, that's community service, ladies. Raising your babies, you did community, you're doing community service. Taking care of your own ass is community service. Ain't you the community? Let's say you're single and you got to pay your bills. That ain't community service. You the damn community. Man, they better get the hell out of here. Hey, if you got to pay your bills and keep a roof over your head, that's not community service. They say, Pharaoh, do you help the homeless? Yes, I help the homeless a lot. Every time I paid these bills, I made it so the homeless could not be overcrowded with more homeless people. Yeah, I helped keep the homeless population down by paying my bills and keeping a roof over my children and my wife's heads. So yeah, I helped the homeless situation tremendously. I helped the homeless community to make sure I wasn't out there, so that's more food for you. Yeah. Yeah, I helped the homeless. I helped the homeless. If you stop people from being homeless, you helping the homeless situation, ain't you? I help the homeless situation by not becoming the homeless situation and making it more another person they got to feed and take care of. This idea that you got to go out and help a homeless person when you're trying to keep a roof over your wife or your head and feed your children is ridiculous. That's just as valuable. That's just as valuable. That's just as valuable. You is doing community service when you take care of yourself. Don't let nobody shame you talking about what you should have did. Y'all doing exactly what y'all supposed to do. Take care of yourself. That way, there's less people that the society got to take care of. That is community service. That is God's work. Taking care of yourself. Taking care of your situation, your family, your parents, your relationship situation. You young. You a young brother, you 27, your queen 25. Y'all just had a baby. Y'all around there doing whatever you got to do to try to keep a roof over your head and raise the baby. You trying to love her, she trying to love you. That's community service. That community service. If you a man out here, you get a queen, you love her, and now she got a king. That community service. You helping her not be single. You helping her not have to run around. If you're a good man, you saved her from a bad man. That ain't community service if you're a good man and you wipe up a queen and now she ain't got to deal with the users. She ain't got to be no bust down. Huh? That's not community service. Seriously. But I just want y'all to know, your generation, the new philosophy that Pharaoh put out here, every year is a generation. No more of this lumping everybody together. Whatever year you was born, everybody born that year, that's your generation. If you're born 1990, you are the 1990 generation. Don't let them try to give you the 97 people. Them ain't yours. Because they'll do that. You'll be born here. 5 years later, the crack epidemic. And then they want to say your generation was the crack epidemic. No, wait. No. The crack epidemic was 95. And I grew up 91. You know, the people that got on crack the people born in crack was born in 1980. I was born in the early 80s. They was born in the late 80s. Because let's say crack hit in the late 80s. If crack hit hard 86, 87, 88, and through the 90s, if you look at 87, if you go back 17 years, that means 1970. 1970, 1980, 19. So everybody born in 1970 on up, them was the ones that came up, that was the crackheads. If you was born in the 90s, that ain't you. If you was born in the 60s, that ain't you. If you was born in the 50s, that's not you. That's not your era. And then each year got to take its own year. They can't lump you together and be like, man, well, everybody was on crack from 83 to 93. That ain't got nothing to do with me, man. I was born in 1995, and me and my group, everybody I was around wasn't on it. Don't try to lump me in this time period. Only time period you can lump me with is the year I was born. And if there were certain problems the year I was born, then yeah, that was in my era. That was in my era. Yes, I'll take that. But don't give me everybody's era and say, oh, all of this is my era and I represent this whole group. I represent the year I was born. That's what I represent. I don't represent nothing but the year I was born. That's my group, and we grew up at a certain time. You can't lump me together, because if I'm born in 1958 and I grew up and something happened, it's happening to people born in 58, 59, 60, 61. So you can't lump me in there with them. You can't lump me in there with everybody that started doing something. That's a society thing. That society did that. Not no generation didn't do nothing. Society started tripping. Stop blaming this stuff on generations. Blame it on society. These are society issues. Society has music in the school. And it's society the one that takes music out to school, not the generation. The generation is not doing that. That's people within the society doing that. And then people could be, we don't know what age. Them people could be that's making these governmental decisions. They all different ages. They don't represent no group. So this whole, your generation did this, your generation did that. What generation is what? What? I'm born in 1958. 1958 ain't responsible for nothing. There's not no one generation responsible for nothing, because anything started came from people born a lot of different years. Unless I'm crazy, everything that happened that's bad in this country came from a bunch of people born at a bunch of different times. They didn't come from no one generation. Stop with that. When crack was out here, you had crackheads from 16 to 70. Okay, so which one is the crackhead generation? It ain't one. I mean, let's be realistic. All ages was on it. So how you going to blame that on a generation? Make it make some sense. Like when I was coming up, it was a bunch of alcoholics, but it wasn't no generation. It was a certain time period it happened, but it had nothing to do with a certain generation, because you had alcoholics from teens to 90. From Chicago to Mississippi, you had drunks. From Detroit, Chicago, drunks was everywhere. So it's no location, it's no generation. There's no generation behind these things. These are just society things. It's never not based on age or no time period nobody was born. I think that's a bad philosophy. I think the way we're dealing with generations is bad. I think it's negative. And I think you should just claim your year. And I believe if we start claiming our year, I believe we'll have better history because now we can highlight each year. Because I would like to know what happened every year. I don't want to know what happened in 10 years. I like to know what was life like in 71. What was life like in 72? I'd like to start seeing those documentaries. I like to start seeing documentaries that show each year. That would be better than a 10-year documentary. The hell with 10 years. Show me what happened, what was going on in 1961. Then show me what was going on in 1962 so we can see the difference, so we can see the progress, so we can see what changed, so we can see the year this was invented, this year. That would be way better history, year by year history. That's what I'm intrigued with. Like for me, I'm born in 1958. I don't know what happened in 1958 because they ain't documented it. I was a baby, so I don't know. What was going on in 1958? What changed? What was new? Yeah, they trying to start doing it on YouTube. YouTube is a blessing. YouTube is a blessing because they're starting to really expand. I just wanted to put that out there because people were saying generation, my generation. And I'm like, I don't got no generation. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't have no generation. Because if you're born in 1958 in Chicago, you ain't even going to be the same as somebody born in 1958 in Decatur, Alabama. Y'all ain't going to have, you know what I'm saying? The only thing y'all going to have in common is what was going on in the world that y'all seeing. But it's still going to be unique between Chicago, Detroit, stuff like that. They trying to lump us together. You was born in 1976. That was bicentennial. That bicentennial mean that was the 200th birthday of the U.S. because the U.S. became the United States in 1776. I graduated in 1976, so they called us bicentennial. That was the 200th birthday of the country. So you was born on the 200th birthday of the United States. Bicentennial. The tricentennial will be 300. And so on and so forth. So yeah, you was born on the 200th year of this being a nation. That's a good birthday. That's the year I graduated from high school. That's good. Every year is a good year. Because there's great things happen every year. So anyway, y'all let that sink in. We need to change that philosophy. They can't just be lumping us together in groups of 10 years. That don't seem right. That don't seem like if you was born in 1976, Lone Ranger, can they lump you together with everybody like 20 years? Okay? No, they just got to deal with the 1976, what y'all was on. What y'all was on. I think that's more accurate. Because I just don't see how you can lump me in with 20 to 30 years. A generation is typically, look, they don't even know. Look. That would be great. Look what they say, G-Rod. They don't even have it factual. They saying typically considered 20 to 30 years. Which one is it? 20 years or 30 years? And which 20 years? So if you're born in 1910, from 1910 to 1940, they saying that's a generation. Okay, if you're born in 1920, your generation would be from 1920 to 1950. So think about it, G-Rod. If you move it, it don't make no sense. If you say 20 years is a generation, and I'm born 1958, then my generation would be 58 68, 78, 88, right? All right. If my generation is 58, 68, 78, 88, okay? 68, 78, 88, right? 68, 78, 88. Let's say you're born 78. Are you in my generation? Or are you 78, 88, 98, 2008? Which one is it? If it's 20, let's say it's 20 years, make it easier. If I'm born in 1958, you say a generation is 20 years. That's why this don't make no sense. So I'm born in 58. So 68 and 78 would be my generation. 68 and 78, 20 years. But if you were born in 68, it would be 78 and 88. So are you in my generation and the other generation? Because my generation would go 68, 78. You born 68, yours 68, 88. I mean 78, 88. But you born 68. So which generation are you? The 78 and 88? Are you the 58, 68, 78? Which one is you? That's why it don't make no sense. Because your generation would be in the other generation. I'm just saying. Because every day is another different 20 years. Listen, January 1st, 2026, 27, 28. January 1st, 2026 to January 1st, 2028 would be a generation. Well, January 2nd, right, 2026 wouldn't fit because that would go to January 2nd, 2048. So that would it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Because every as you go, then it would slide, and which generation you in, it would slide. If it's 20 years, it don't make no sense. If this is a generation, if this 20 years, if this is 20 years, and they say this is your generation, right? That's why it don't make no sense. Let's say this is your generation. This 20 years. I'm born right here. The generation from here to here. If you're born right here, what generation you in? From here to there? Or is you still in mass? You know, I'm just saying, are you in the middle of my 20 years or do your 20 years start? If you're born in the middle of my 20 years, are you in my generation or do your generation start with your 20 years? Make it make some sense. If this is mine, 20 years, and they say, this is a generation, this is your generation. If you're born right here, are you in my generation or is this your generation? Because your generation can't be this and this. So are you in my generation and this generation? See what I'm saying? Anybody understand what I'm trying to say? If a generation is 20 years and this is a generation, you're born in the middle of it, are you in that generation? Or is you the beginning of a new generation? Because if you're the beginning of a new generation, then every generation is when you're born. Am I wrong? Think about it. That's why I said this don't make no sense. If a generation is 20 years, everybody that's born within that 20 years, are they in that generation or is that everybody starting a new generation? Because it got to go 20 years. See, that don't make no sense. Do that make sense? that you could be born in the middle of, and so if you're born in, if my generation 20 years, and you born within that 20 years, you only get 10 years to your, you only get, if my generation is 1968, 78, 88 is my generation, and that's a generation, and you born 78, I get 20 years. You just get 10. And then who generation is it? Who generation is it? Is it mine, or is this, or am I in the middle of somebody's generation? Because the way they're doing it, I think we all in the middle of somebody else's generation. But I don't know. I don't know. We all in the middle of somebody's generation, ain't we? When's the start date of a generation? Because it looked like we all in the middle. See, this is nonsense. How you going to prime a generation when it's every 20 or 30 years and we all born in the middle of the 20 and 30 years? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? Like, okay, when does a generation start? Am I born in the middle of it? Because I ain't seen the generation chart. Where's the generation chart to show us what generation is this? Then they be naming them. You generation X. They say you the baby boomers. Like, when's the baby boom? Well, the baby booms was it was like when y'all came up here. It's like it's approximately, baby boomers is approximately all these years. So all the babies was booming that whole time. That don't sound right. That sound like the people that made it up used to watch black and white TV and listen to the radio. I think us new modern people, I think we need to update that old shit, okay? Because it sound like bullshit to me. I need to be that. We need to, okay, give me the generation chart, okay? All right. This is the generation. This is the generation ideology. Okay, all right. Okay. Redo, because they got me confused. I don't know what generation I'm is. Not I am, I'm Miz. M-I-Z. That's how bad it is. I don't know what generation I'm is. They got me confused. When did my generation start? Which 20 years? Which, because dudes say your generation, so I was like, my generation. I never got my generation sheet. I don't know when my generation is. You say your generation didn't keep it going. I said, oh damn. I didn't even know we was a group. I don't even got my generation phone number to call them and say, hey, generation, we got to keep music going. Some people be talking crazy. He said, my generation is the reason the kids don't know music. I'm tripping. I'm like, my own kids don't play instruments because it wasn't at their school and they couldn't play it anyway because the neighbors is weird nowadays. They're not going to let your kids make no noise. You can't make no noise no more. You can't make noise. It's ridiculous. It don't make no sense. Don't none of y'all even know what y'all generation is. My daughter, I asked my daughter, I said, what generation is? I forgot what she told me she was. Oh, she got mad. She got mad when somebody was running for president and they didn't pick the old white dude. Who was that? You know, the old white Jewish dude? Somebody was running for president and they didn't pick him up there on the East Coast. And I called my daughter. That was a few elections ago. She was in college. And she said, "Not right now, Dad." I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" She said, "We're mad because we didn't pick Bernie Sanders." Yeah, Bernie Sanders. She was mad. I forgot. I know it's Bernie Sanders. I'm trying to think who was supposed to pick him. They picked somebody else. They didn't pick Bernie. And my daughter was mad as hell. And she said, "Us meals are pissed. I said, "What the hell is a meal?" You know? She said, that's the first time I heard that nonsense. She said, "Us meals are pissed. They should have picked Bernie because they was in college and Bernie was going to give them free college." She was right, though. They should have picked Bernie. They don't want to give them. That was Hillary? Yeah. That was Hillary. Yeah. My daughter was pissed. She said the meals was pissed. I said, "What the hell is the meals? Like meat meals? Meals on wheels?" Like, I was confused. "No, Dad. Millennials." I said, "Oh, you's a millennial? How the hell I have a baby and don't know what it is?" See, I'm pissed. How I got a baby and I don't know what the baby was? I didn't get no millennial notice or nothing. She said she's a meal. I was like, "Why you couldn't be a billion? Why you only had to be a meal?" I don't know. Sound like bullshit to your boy. Girl, you ain't no meal. What the hell is a meal? They just be making stuff up, don't they? What the hell is a millennial? Then the new ones. What's the new ones? Because they got a new ones. Who's the new ones? What they call them? Gen X? See, that's an insult. They Gen X ain't see that see. We can't keep supporting this nonsense. Gen X don't sound like Gen X don't sound like Gen Z. That don't sound right. That don't sound like they plan for you to be here. And they call me a baby boomer and all this. What? I'm a 1958, boy. I'm not no baby boomer. It's too many. It's the baby boomer thing is too wide. I don't want to be fitting all that. They got me in a whole big old group of all these people as baby boomers. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm 1958 and they not like us. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Like all them people not like me. Why y'all got me in a group with them? I'm 1958. That's my group. That's the only group I want to be associated with. 1958. I'm not with 1959. That's my sister. How am I be in my sister group when she got on my nerve when we was kids? She not my group. She a 1959. Okay? My sister not in my group. Her group started getting a little more tame. I'm 1958. We the wildest ones. We wild. We the wildest ones ever. The 1958ers, we was wild. We was running and ripping. Now the 59s was running and ripping, but they started to slow down a little bit. You know, the parenting got a little weirder. By the time you get to the 60s and now, you know, the mama's talking about, "No, I don't spank my children anymore. I do like the Europeans told me," you know. As that, I'm 1959. 58. And 58 is very specific. You know why 58 listen, with parenting, 58 is right in between the switch and the belt, right? They didn't get the switch on my legs. They get the belt. See, my grandmama was still with the switch, but I'm 1958. My mama wasn't really with the switch. My mama liked the belt. The switch was too much work. You got to go out of a tree and, you know. My mama liked the belt. My mama loved the belt because the belt was less work. So my mama was the belt generation. She liked the belt because the belt was a lot. It was the best way to raise kids was the belt. Because the belt, my mama used the belt as a threatening tool. So she didn't have to spank us. See, the belt, you don't do that much spanking and that much discipline with the belt because the belt's scary. So when me and my sister wouldn't stop, she said, go over there, go get my belt and bring it here. And see, then you get scared because you think you're finna get a spanking. And then my mama would take the belt and she would do this. Keep on. She would lay it right here. And that belt laying there, she never hardly had to use it. You know what I'm saying? I was genius. She never had to hit us with it. She scared the hell out you by telling you to go get it. You know what I'm saying? It was genius psychology. And once my mom would tell us to go get the belt and lay it down, we would get quiet. Yeah, we would get quiet. So she never had to use it. And she would just sit it up there. P, you should ask your sister how she feels about this generation thing. My sister, man, my sister, I already know she ain't gonna do nothing but laugh. Yeah, she ain't gonna do nothing but laugh. That's why I say she ain't in my group. My sister in a different group. My sister do not care. To her, she gonna laugh. All she gonna do is giggle. That's all she gonna do. Hey, what you think about the generation thing? She ain't gonna do nothing but giggle. If she say something, she gonna be like, I can't keep up with it. Or something like that. But she don't really say too much. She a year younger than me. She don't care. See, I don't know. Now, her husband, my brother-in-law, now that's the one I asked if I want to get some conversation. My sister's not going to do all that conversation like that. She never was like that. My sister ain't do all that. My sister was like this. Get out of my room, boy! Basically. So I said that. You know, I had to wait till she get ready to play. You know what I'm saying? You have to play. She let you know, you know what I'm saying, when she want to be bothered with you like that. But I don't think she gonna, you know, she, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she'll say too much. She'll probably ask me what I think. She'll just be wanting to know my take on it. And then she'll probably just giggle at my take. You know what I'm saying? That's how she be. I'd be like, what you think about your generation? She'd be like, what you mean? And then I'll have to explain it. She say, that make a lot of sense, though. That's probably what she'll say. Because me and her definitely ain't no same generation. She ain't my generation. My sister, 1959. And their lifestyle was different. Because the 1958 generation was the last on the job training generation. 1959, they start pushing college. That's why every year make a difference, G-Rod. Every year makes it's a year by year thing. So that's a great question when I think about it. My generation was the end of an era. 1958, everybody born in 1958. When we turned 18, because that's what you would measure it by. You would measure it by, okay, it's 58, but how you measure it? Because we all going to turn 21 at the same time, right? So when we turn 21 at the same time, then we have to go through the same things in the system at 21, at 18. And for those of us in 1958, that was the end of on-the-job training. Once I worked for the Treasury Department on-the-job training, they was beginning to start talking about going to college. They was beginning to send people to college, sign you up, and the job would pay for you to go to college. So those people born in 1958, that's the last generation that when we got 20, first off, 1958 is also the last generation that worked straight out of high school. You didn't need no fancy job. That was beginning to disappear. Yeah, you didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that. Get out of high school, get a job. Every year they give you a raise. By the time you're 28, you're making a lot of money. You living just as good as a nurse or somebody. Like my daddy was a bus driver, and my daddy told me after so many years, he said, they used to look at me crazy. I'm making more money than them nurses now. My dad was making more money than a nurse because they gave you seniority, G-Rod, and you got a raise every year, regardless. You get a raise every year regardless. So you got you was wealthy based on how long you stayed at the job. You worked there 10 years, you getting paid 20 years, you making a lot. You getting a raise regardless. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to go sit in no office. It's not based on no yearly salary. It's this much more an hour. You know exactly what you're making. Not no, oh, we paying you 42,000. No, next year we give you 43,000. You go divide it. They ain't giving you nothing. No. No, you're making $9 an hour. Now you're making 12. Now you're making 15. Now you're making 25. Now you're making 30, like that. An hour. You know exactly what you're making. Every year until you retire. No, because back then, you gonna get a raise. Ain't no, because the only way you don't get a raise, they fire you. As long as you came to work and did your job, you didn't have to kiss nobody's ass. And then that year, it go on your check automatically. So if I start working June the 17th, next June the 17th, it's more money on my check. I don't got to talk to nobody or nothing. Every year, my check going to go up automatically. When I started working at the book factory, the OGs, they was driving brand new Lincolns, had 3-bedroom homes and shit. Why you think everybody always was happy to go to work? They had what you used to call seniority. Seniority paid. So you working for the Snickers company, right? You come in, they give you so much an hour. Every year they give you more. They say, well, how could you make so much money? Because Snickers is rich. And back in those days, if you worked there, they shared the wealth with the employees. Yes, you work for Wonder Bread, you work for Snickers, you work for Mars Bars. They paying you good. They rich. So they got the money. They're not like these new companies that rob y'all. No, back then, the longer you work there, the more money they give you. They ain't lose no money because when you retire, then you get a big retirement. Then the new person come back in for the regular salary, and work their way up. I worked for a book factory. I quit and started working downtown. I got a couple of checks. I went back to the book factory. I was like, man, I'm not working down with this suit on and I'm not making nothing. I am going back to the factory where I'm making bank. I was making way more money at the book factory than them people working downtown. They wasn't making shit, not compared to that factory. People that work for Ford and Chevy and factories, they was making bank. And if you work for the car industry, you getting a car for nothing. All my uncles in Detroit had brand new Fords, the top of the line Ford. They ain't paying hardly nothing for it. It's damn near free. They don't want to tell y'all that. That was the best work. Why you think America ran so well? People didn't mind going to work. Man, 18 years old, I was getting paid. I had a 2-bedroom apartment and my own car. Not only did they pay you good, we had a 2-bedroom apartment for $225 a month. It went up to $250 a month. And we getting paid. I'm making big money, lots of money for I'm straight out of high school. I'm a full-grown adult. Back then, you out of high school, you're a grown man. Ain't none of this little boy shit they doing now. You at McDonald's. No. You graduated in 1976, you go to work, you was a grown man. When I grew up at 18, you're a grown man. Not no college student. See, they make y'all still be stupid kids. Make you still be a little stupid student. You 18 now, you ain't gonna be no adult. Now you gotta go to college. Then when you get out of college, you still ain't no adult because you ain't working. And now you gotta try to scrounge around so you can get employment. So you don't even become an adult till you got down 26, 28. 10 years later, you're an adult. Me, I graduated on a Saturday. Monday, I was a full-grown adult. I graduated Saturday. Sunday, my mama like, Niecy gonna come pick you up. You gonna work down there with her. My auntie come pick me up. I worked the night shift. I was a full-grown adult. 2 days after I graduated. 2 days after I graduated, I was an adult. When I was 18, I was an adult. I was a full-grown adult. Not no college kid. I never been a kid once I got out of high school. I was a full-grown adult. My own place to live and pay all my bills. Would I say 400 900 a month for housing and low? No, hell no. For the 900 now, right now, I can't really tell you, G-Rock, because what is food prices? How much you making? How much you making? What's food prices? No, that's too much money. That's too much money. Anytime the people got to pay too much money, the companies lose money. The companies lose, or the companies got to rob the people. Because the companies got to rob the people. They got to raise their prices. And what happens is when the companies got to raise their prices, then everything go up. And the bottom going to fall out this whole system. Because what happens is this. You make this much. Your bills is this much. Your bills go up, salary go up, bills go up, salary go up, bills go up, salary go up, bills go up, salary go up. Everything go up. Bus fare. Once that go up, bus fare go up, train go up, electric go up, this go up. This is what we're going through right now. Bottom going to fall out this G-Rock because everything, then you get to 20, 24, 26, homeless people every goddamn where. People losing their apartments. Gone. People can't pay their car insurance because they gonna keep inching it up. Keep inching it up. The bottom gonna fall out. That's where y'all living. This shit gonna collapse. The bottom you go downtown right now, all them buildings, ain't nobody in them damn buildings. The buildings is empty. People's running scam over in China, running scams with buildings. They got empty buildings, skyscrapers all across Chicago. It's a scam. Nobody's in them. Right now, where you live at and where we live at, you know how they keeping these buildings going? Application fees. Why would they rent out an apartment when they can get 30 application fees a month for every apartment and tell you no, they ain't got no opening? Hold on. That's what they doing. They running scams. Them buildings not open. They charge you. Man, don't nobody want to go look for no apartment because they charging application fees. Ask anybody in the chat. Ask chat. Tell them what you got to do to get an apartment and how much money you pay, and they keep denying you. By the time you find an apartment, you done pay $2,000 in application fees. Ask somebody. Support the channel. We'll finish in a minute. Why would I rent out to you? I can get right now, I can get 4 units. I can get 4 units that I want, $2,000 each unit. That's $8,000, right? And application fees, I can make $4,000 each unit. I can make $16,000. I can make $16,000 with nobody in there a month, sometimes $20,000, $30,000 a month. Nobody in there. I don't got to do no maintenance or nothing. I can make double the money I make with rent with application fees. That's what they're doing. Ask somebody, ask a single woman. She's gonna tell you. You looking for a product, like these application fees is killing me. No, it's not regulated. No, they just take your money. So you gotta tell them, if I don't get the apartment, do I get my money back? Building empty, ain't nobody in there. 4 units, nobody in there. They had an organization they went to the same apartment for like 4 or 5 months. It was empty. They never rented it out. There wasn't nobody in the building and know it. There's nobody in the building know it. They make more money. I can get the building and get rich. No tenants, no nothing. All I got to do is just be there and just show apartments all day. All I'm doing is show apartments. Yeah, this one, this one, this one. You go back, I deny you. Deny. Pay for the building, own the building, make a bunch of money, then sell it. Cash out. Let it be somebody else's headache. I ain't got to put another roof or nothing on this damn thing. They doing that big time. New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, they doing that. That's the big scam. That's the big scam. It's scamming the hell. Some places making enough money on 2 apartments to pay for the whole building. They just keep showing them same 2 apartments. The rest of the apartments got people in it. They got 2 apartments that they just run that scam. They be scamming. The economy gonna collapse. The economy gonna collapse because people chasing more money, and you chasing more money. So now you let these people sell you a car for 60,000, 80,000. You know what I'm saying? 100,000. Eventually, ain't nobody gonna buy no car. Eventually, a guy gonna buy the car for 90. He gonna tell his wife, "I'm keeping this one." So eventually, a dude gonna buy his car for 90. He gonna keep that car 15, 20 years. He not gonna keep. Man, these people finna start keeping them cars. They're not gonna buy another one. Why would you buy another one? I got a Lincoln that runs great, right? I got a 2025 Lincoln that runs great. Why would I go buy another? So people ain't buying them, and the ones that do want to change them, they not buying it. They just doing a lease. Oh my God, they don't. Man, listen, man, I'd really be outside. I just don't play the game, but I could. Listen, you can see me in a nice car every year. Think I'm rolling. Oh, it ain't my car. I'm leasing that. I'm paying a note. I don't own that shit. This is what the ballers be doing. They be lying. They be, boy, listen. They got on lab made diamonds. Some of them got lab made diamonds on silver or stainless steel. You can't even tell. You think that shit gold. And then you just pay 200 something a month for the car. 300 a month. 12 months, turn it in, get another one. You see me now. Every time I see Pharaoh, he got the new Benz. But yeah, boy, I'm balling. I tell you, I just bought the new Benz. And I could come on social media. I could show y'all the new Benz. My views gonna go up. The ladies gonna go crazy. The ladies gonna give me a whole bunch of money too to pay for shit. I pimp the ladies out. Blah, blah, blah. She going, right? So the ladies pimp the ladies out. Show the clothes, show the car. But I ain't buying none of that. I don't own none of this. I don't own where I'm showing you I'm living at. I don't own the car, nothing. All money, I'm saving all the money. I'm taking the pennies off the hustle and just keeping the image going. Yeah, it's gonna collapse. I'm just I've just always been honest. So I just never really wanted to play the game. And I kind of changed my life around and I started putting my man into the to my body instead of the clothes. Like I'm into health. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm finna turn 68, and a lot of my friends, they passing away. Everything they gone. Like I got a lot of friends, everything they got gone because their children. When you hustle like that, you be the only one. They don't tell y'all all this. That dude that's getting money, what he don't tell you, there's no backup. There's no backup in their family. Once they gone, all that stuff going to squander. You get tired of that being the one building something knowing it ain't gonna stay. That's why some dudes they have a son and they try to put everything in the son to make sure somebody can maintain this legacy that I work for. But that's easier said than done because 95% of the ballers, sons is losers. You can't make a baby, like they be lying with that too. You cannot make a baby be like you. They don't want to tell this type of stuff. Like you cannot make your children be like you. They don't want to tell you that. And it's been like that. Kings have lost their kingdom because they couldn't get the prince. The prince was a loser. The daddy was a great king. The prince had everything, but he didn't have what daddy. He don't got what daddy got. You can't. You necessarily. You know they be talking about inheritance. Man, you can't find nobody to inherit it. Sometimes your best luck is like the grandkids. You might get lucky with the grandson. You might get lucky with the grandson. But all that stuff you be having to be junk. You don't realize it's junk till you like get sick or you're on your unalive bed. Where you know what I'm saying? That's when you take a survey and realize, damn. Man, all this stuff, ain't nobody even gonna maintain this shit. Cause nobody likes it but you. Go work hard, get really nice things. Nobody likes that stuff. Nobody cherishes that stuff but you. I swear to God. You can have the brand new top of the line Bentley. Nobody care about that car but you. I'll tell you, man, you gotta live it to know what I'm talking about. If you don't live it, you don't know what I'm talking about. Nobody is nothing but junk. When I be saying that, people be understanding what I'm saying. It don't be nothing but junk. And then on top of that, if you don't put your body first, you leave it at 50. At 50, you gone. The car's still there, but you dead. Think about that. Think about buying a bunch of fancy cars and fancy homes and wiping on stuff, and you die early. With all that, you know what I'm saying? You sick, you dilapidated, but the car shining. Not a scratch on it. You colon gone, kidneys gone, back, man. You know what I'm saying? But all the stuff is it mess your man up. You start saying, wait a minute, I gotta get my priorities. Know what I'm saying? So nobody else care about that stuff. I'm telling you. Then collectors come in and get it and sell it. They come in and get it. That's why now everybody cashing out all their stuff. I'll be outside. Everybody cashing out. Everybody. All my friends, they sold all them homes. They sold all them cars. They getting rid of all that jewelry and everything. They don't want nothing but just a little thing where they live in. They don't want none of that because they said if anybody gonna mess it up, they want to mess it up. They not leaving it. I got friends got a whole lot of money, got children and stuff. Man, them kids. Hey man, I got friends. Okay, got a lot of money. Got two sons and a daughter. Got buildings. Put the daughter in that building. Put the son in that building. Put the other son in that. Houses, apartment, all that. Put the son in that. Put the daughter in that house. Son in that house. Son in that house. Everything's straight. All they got to do is take care of the house, take care of the stuff. Daddy rolling. Daughter. fall in love with a woman, want to leave the house. The house you work for, put in. She didn't fall in love with a woman. She leave the house. House dilapidating now. You got to find somebody go in the house. Son in the other house. You got 2, 3 houses. You trying to sell. Nobody want to buy. Economy struggling. You trying to sell these houses. Boom, you go to the mailbox. Here's the taxes for the house your son. He ain't paid no damn tax on nothing. Here's a tax bill for $18,000, $21,000. You get the tax bill, $20,000. Well, your son ain't pay. All he had to do was pay the taxes once a year. No mortgage, no nothing. Just keep the electricity on, mow the grass, keep it nice, and just pay the taxes. You look up, you get a $25,000 bill. No taxes. You had money put up. Guess what? The money that you got, it started disappearing. The other house, you get a bill. That son, $17,000. That bill, $17,000. You got nice cars, truck. That son, go get in one of the nice trucks, driving it with fireworks, drop the blunt in the fireworks, blow the whole car up, hit a pole. Boom, car gone, police car, he got a gun. He go to prison, man. You done made millions. Ain't nobody worth for damn. Not only you don't have nobody to maintain your stuff, they messing up hundreds of thousands of dollars. You losing money. You end up broke. Nobody to maintain nothing you got. And your health shot. Your health shot, you got cancer. You got to get 9 surgeries, 8 surgeries. This is what I be trying to tell y'all. You done made millions. Millions. I call you, what up, Ram? What up, man? Man, I'm just trying to get this last $1,000, Ram. You know, this boy didn't pay nothing. I got to pay this. I got 2 more thousand. Oh, man, I'll be over there. I get to you. We just sit over there. I just shake my head. I hear the story. I'll just shake my head, bro. I feel your pain. Because you could do all that work, but what you forget is it still got to be maintained. You setting up this legacy for who, though? And how much is it going to cost you to maintain this legacy? Black, white, all my white friends, shit sold. They selling everything. Gotta go. Worst thing you can do, buy them stinking ass houses. You buying them goddamn houses, all that money for them houses. They sell, they out. House gone. Small condo, that's it. They don't care if they pay for the condo or not. They just pay it monthly. It could do what they can. It could go to hell. They don't want to own it. It's just it's like rent. Everything must go. Liquidation. My other friend, what is he? He Lebanese or something. He down in Florida. Big house. Boom, hurricane hit it. No problem. Insurance, boom, get it refixed. Hurricane hit it again. Bam! Insurance company, drop him. He's like, Pharaoh, my friend, I hate these people so much. He said, the man was rich. Hurricane hit his house. Boom, insurance, boom, fix it. He put some more money, redid it. Nice. Hurricane hit it again. Ah, good customer. Pay all the time. Insurance company, we not fixing that. You out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Click. The insurance company told him, go F himself. Dropped him. He's like, Pharaoh, you won't believe it. We have to now, here in Florida, we have to put money in the bank to pay for a hurricane ourselves. I said, are you kidding? He said, no. That's why Florida going broke right now. Florida going broke. Florida, one hurricane from being desolate. One more, it's over. It's over for Florida. Florida's broke because the hurricane keep hitting it. And they not paying no more. Just go with this because this is a generation thing. This is the generation just start moving like that. You gotta understand, right? So this was the generation that I'm coming up. This is the first generation where the middle class could become rich, right? Because you always had people that was rich, that was robbing everybody, had these factories and stuff. But when you start getting to the late 60s, when you get to the 70s up, now people start figuring out how to get rich. But the system not set up to help you. And then they stupid, G-Rod, because boom, all these people get these nice homes and stuff. These fools don't respect nature. They flying shit everywhere. They doing stuff all in the water. They doing all this stuff. All of us finna be on fire, underwater, and wherever you live at. Wherever you live at, it's a wrap. All this stuff gonna get tore up, G-Rod. Cause they're not the smartest, they're not the brightest bulbs in the lamp. Anybody tell you, I won't live nowhere lower than the fifth floor. Ask somebody. I will not live in Chicago in no building. I don't want no house. It's out the question. I'm 60. I don't want no damn house. I will not live in no building that ain't the sixth floor and up. And then I got to cross my finger for fire. Because I'm going to wake up and Chicago be underwater. First floor, second floor going to be flooded. What? You're going to turn on the news, you're going to see it. It's flooding all the time. They just don't want to tell nobody. Every time it's flooded. It just flooded the other day, Chicago. It's flooding a lot. They don't want to scare nobody. But we right on the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. And you don't respect God, you don't respect nature. All this stuff gonna get tore up. If you got a house and you got a basement, make sure everything is elevated. Design, my daddy taught me that. In our basement, he had it designed where everything is elevated. Don't have nothing that's just directly on the floor in your basement. If you have a house with a basement, design it to be elevated. I don't care where you live at. If you got a little extra money, go ahead and get to put your couches up on in the basement. Your basement, the couch, put them on right? Sit them up on something. At least a foot and a half be better. your uh your washer and dryer, it should be elevated. So when the dew be the water, it won't just be all in the washer and dryer. It'll just be up to the bottom of it. All your storage. The ice agent did somebody else in Minnesota. Well, yeah, they're gonna do that. Um, so everything in your basement, get it up off the floor. Don't have nothing on the floor. My father taught me that at his house. He had nothing on the floor in the basement. Make everything elevated. Have the refrigerator. Have somebody. It can still look cute. Have somebody, right? Have it elevated. Make sure you have a sump pump right there on that drain, that basement drain. Have a pump, man, and have everything designed where it still look good, but it's waterproof. And so when company come and paying pool, they can't tell. You ain't really got to worry about the pool table because the water won't do nothing to the pool, the legs of the pool table, stuff like that. But you don't have no storage. Like, sometimes people store stuff up from upstairs in the basement. Everything must be elevated in your basement. Don't have nothing that you can't afford to get wet in your basement. That way, when the water go back down, you can just take a hose and spray everything, disinfect everything, you back in business. Hey, I seen that floor water ran all the way from Louisiana to Florida. When they pulled over into the hotel, the water was already coming into the car. Yeah, guided. The environment is acting a fool, so you got to have your house, have your stuff, if you got a basement, elevate everything. Elevate everything in the basement. Don't have nothing just sitting on the basement floor, nothing that could get wet like that. And then store your stuff in waterproof stuff. If you just got to store a little stuff, put them in coolers, ice coolers. See what I'm saying? Buy some ice coolers. You got money. Buy some ice coolers. Line them up. Sit them on a little, right? A little elevated. Sit the coolers on there with all your stuff. If you got books you got down there, or you got shoes, your wife got too many shoes and says you want to put her shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, the fifth floor. Because I'm in Chicago, that lake not going to stay over there. That lake coming out of there. That lake is not staying in that lake. All the rings of fire is going off. The natural disasters is so bad, they're not reporting them. They're not even reporting them no more. For the last 2 years, they haven't been told you nothing. None of these natural disasters that Trump gonna show you or nothing. Them people still messed up. And the weather is acting, come on, man. Right now, it's probably like below zero almost outside. It's liable to be 60 tomorrow, the day after. And it's so bad, right? You feel me? Hold on. Y'all think I'm kidding? Watch this. Look, man. It don't get no. It's so bad. Look, I go outside like this. This is how I go outside still right now. This is how I go out. Right there. Now, let me put you up on some game. It's a bad flu out here and some other stuff. But that ain't why I got these masks. The reason I got these masks is because when COVID came out, we had to wear masks. When winter came in Chicago and I put my mask on, I said, it's better than a scarf. I'm giving y'all a game. If you live in a cold climate, the hell with a scarf. Man, you want to stay warm? Oh, my soul. Get you these. If you live where it get cold, get these. Because when you put these on, I don't care if it's below zero. First off, you're going to be able to breathe. It's going to block that wind. Then, when you're breathing warm air in there, right? So it's keeping your face warm. And it ain't no big old scarf. So when you go inside, you just take it off, fold it up, put it in your pocket. This is better than a scarf by far. Listen, this is better than a scarf. So not just so that you don't get no cold. If you live or you get no flu or nothing, or no virus, if you live New York or somewhere where it's cold, listen to me. You're going to love me if you try it. Get a mask. I bet you don't be cold when you go outside. Because when you breathe, it warm your whole. See, when you put a scarf on and you breathe, the scarf don't keep the heat. The heat kind of goes inside of the scarf. But when you put this on, the heat stays in the mask. So when you go outside, your face be warm as hell. So after the COVID, I said, man, I'm kidding, man. Listen, this is all I'm wearing in the wintertime. This is what I wear in the wintertime. A scarf ain't got nothing on this. Man, a scarf don't have nothing on a mask. Your whole face gonna be warm. And you know, if you keep your face warm and you keep your hands warm and wear the right clothes, you won't be cold. One of the things that make you cold is your face. And this is the I got the one that clamped down on the nose. You know what I'm saying? Hey, if you live where it gets cold, another thing is get a bunch of these and get a bunch. Because I'm finna order like 1,000. Because last time, it took about a month before they even could get them. I was, Posy ain't over here right now. Me and Posy was on the phone while I was going everywhere and nobody had masks. So, you might want to get 1,000, 2,000 real cheap in a big box. Because when COVID came, dudes at the gas station sell these for $5 a watt. $5. Because what happened, if there's some type of pandemic and stuff come, they order a bunch of them and then they send them to China. So it don't be none in the U.S. nowhere. So on the hustle side, you want to keep these in case they become an emergency. You can come up and make you a few thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You can make you some thousands and you can send them to your family because they ain't going to be in the store. Because if you don't think another pandemic coming, you crazy because it's one, this flu is not no joke. Now, I ain't gonna say absolutely not no joke, because they might just be trying to sell the flu shot, but I don't never really roll the dice with my health like that. And I don't really believe America is safe. I think Americans is sloppy. I think they eat a lot of animals. They got all type of like stuff wrong with them. And so I think for sure the way Americans function, the way they take care of their health, the way they consume so many abominations, for sure, it's definitely gonna be another pandemic. Yeah, price gouging, hustling, shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't knock the hustle. So I'm going to order like a couple thousand. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody be having the ugly ones look like they from the hospital. I want the, what I'm saying, the black ones look more, better. You know, it don't look like you in the hospital. I don't like the hospital looking ones. They look cornbally. Just a word to the wise, but it definitely is allegedly some serious viruses going around, and the temperature, something ain't right. I'm gonna put it like that. Because it's snowing in Chicago and it's cold, and it ain't been cold in Chicago for 3 years. So something is not right. It ain't been cold in Chicago for 3 years. It's always been around 40, 60 in the winter. So this is the first time in Chicago in years that it's really freezing outside. So when you got all these foreigners, all these older people, all these people been here, and it ain't been getting cold, and now it's cold, they underdressing. Everybody gonna be sick next week. Listen, it's really cold out there now. Everybody gonna by Tuesday. e- Everybody in Chicago gonna be sick because at first they're not used to it, and you know what I'm saying. I'm a G, so I already know. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know. Like you gotta know. You know what I'm saying? When it get cold, you gotta overdress. You gotta put on long underwear, long sleeve. You gotta do what you gotta do. I learned as a child. Why I think these changes are taking place at this time, because the way they take care of the environment, like people is out of tune with nature, like nothing's into with nature. Like you got how many satellites? How many satellites Elon Musk got up there going? Like anybody think that you could just have satellites going around and around? It's like this, XYZ. Let's say this the weather. And for years the weather's just like this. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. I do the same changes every year. Same earth. Now all of a sudden you add something. You add satellites, rockets, you blowing up stuff, you blowing up weapons. Who believes that you could do something different and get the same weather patterns? This is just common sense. The weather patterns was made on a regular earth. You changing the earth. You changing space. How in the hell are you going to get the same weather patterns with Elon Musk shooting up? It just makes sense. No, you're not going to get the same weather patterns. You constantly building stuff. You constantly blowing stuff up. Like how? How could you blow up Gaza? How could you be blowing up all this energy, knocking all this stuff down, cutting all these trees down, flying all these satellites, SpaceX. And so you're gonna do all that and everything gonna just stay the same? How? You're gonna cut down all the trees in the Amazon. You're gonna do all this extra shit. And everything gonna still work the same way. It's called cause and effect. That's just common sense. And what happens is when you're doing stuff and don't nothing happen. Because they say, but they doing it for nothing happen. That means when something do happen, it's gonna be big. So that means Mother Nature, they like, well, Mother Nature ain't punched us, Pharaoh. No, she doing this. Hey, Mother Nature been punching, but Mother Nature doing this now. She, right? So they like, well, ain't nothing happened yet. But Mother Nature like that. When she is the boom. She not gonna do the regular punch. When she punch you, it's just common sense how that's gonna go. And these people nasty. I'm plant-based vegan. These people eating abominations. They ain't living right. They doing all type of weird stuff. So not just stuff to cover your nose, like, hey, cut back on the sexual activity. I'm telling you. They're gonna have some new sexually transmitted viruses out here. They're gonna make something new. A lot of this is just really cotton. They gonna make something new. I was in LA when AIDS came from nowhere. That was in the 80s. And AIDS came and it was just men. And all these men was dropping. Next thing you know, the women had it. The dope fiends had it. It was in the needles, it was everywhere. All right. What's going to happen when they keep doing weird stuff? This one got gonorrhea, this one got AIDS, this one got syphilis, this one got that, and somebody get all of them and then mix together. What's going to happen when somebody got AIDS and got other stuff? Y'all don't believe it's going to make a super AIDS? So a lot of stuff is just common sense. So you have to watch society. But Mother Nature definitely, come on, man. Listen, I'm born in Chicago, 1958. It snowed every year. It ain't snowed in 3 years. I haven't had to wear no boots yet, even now. Chicago gets snow, feet of snow. Chicago gets snow like as high as a kitchen table. It ain't done that in years. What that mean? I'm born in 1958. Chicago gets snow every year. Every year. Ain't no snow. Winter come. Halloween, it get cold. It might be all right, or your baby might have to put a coat under their Halloween costume. This is Chicago history. The last 3 years, January, 60 degrees. Anytime, it could be 50 or 60 degrees in Chicago in the dead of winter. Come on. When it do snap back, right? I'm just using common sense. When it do snap back and we do get a winter again, put it in chat. What kind of winter we going to get when winter do come back? Because right now, it's blowing it all up to Buffalo. Andrew getting it all. My boy Andrew live up there. It's going around us and it's going up there. Do people wear Timberlands in Chicago? No, because we ain't had no snow. People got on Nike gym shoes. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Ain't nobody bought no boots, Devon. They not selling no boots because it's been spring weather in the winter. I haven't had on a pair of boots in years. I've been going outside in sneakers. Devon, I've been going outside in sneakers. The last time I shoveled snow was 3 years ago when I started the body sculpture challenge, or 4 years ago, and I had to dig my car out. So that next year I bought a little shovel, and it ain't never snowed again. No snow. When it snow, we get, and it go away. Like it's a little white stuff out there, but we haven't got no snow. and Chicago gets snow 2 feet, 3 feet. Ain't done that in years. In Chicago, we have not had winter. No winter. No winter. Go outside in a sweater. 40 degrees in January. It don't be no, listen, in Chicago, it snow around Christmas, and you never see your front yard until March in Chicago. It just snow, it turn to ice, it get around 30 something, it melt a little bit, snow on top of that. It's the soft snow, the kids can play in it, it get hard again like ice. You can't make no snowballs. That's why we got snow route where you can't park on the street. White Flame will tell you, White Flame, have we had a winter like you had when you was young? When you was a teenager, have we had a winter like that? When the last time we had a winter like you had when you was a teenager? White Flame will tell you. He'll tell you it's some strange, boy. White Flame will tell you, man, something ain't right. Because when White Flame was a kid, what the snow was like, it was serious. And ain't no come outside, ain't no 40 degrees in no Chicago. Man, it be 60, 50 degrees in Chicago in the winter. That don't happen. You just go outside a pair of pants. You ain't got to wear no long underwear, boy. You can't go outside Chicago with no long, boy. It's crazy. Look, it's the winter. White Flame will tell you. It's liable to rain, ain't it, bro? Right? It's like, if you don't live in Chicago, you don't understand raining in Chicago. Hey, White Flame, rain the other day, didn't it? Do it rain in Chicago in January and February? Do it rain? Bro, it don't rain. It's raining. It does not rain in Chicago. In no January and no February. It does not rain. It's rain. The last little rain, you might get a little rain around Thanksgiving, maybe. When I was coming up, it always snowed 2 or 3 days before Christmas or Christmas Day. It might be a light snow, it's snow. But once it snows in Chicago, that's it. It's snow. It don't stop snowing. It's snow on the ground. It's snow. No snow. The snow we had out here, it'll snow Friday a little bit, and when you get up Saturday, it then drizzled, then washed it away. Drizzle is January. Why is it drizzling? What the hell, drizzle? Chicago be like 14 below. 21 below wind chill and stuff. None of that, y'all. 40 degrees, 45 degrees. 45 degrees in Chicago in January is diabolical. And now it's February. And anybody from Chicago know, February is what we call the dead of winter. We headed to winter. Anybody tell you that? It's over with by February. Really, it's over with now. What is it? The middle of January? It's over with. This supposed to be, man, it's over with. It's supposed to be unbearable right now. It's the middle of January. This Alaska Eskimo is supposed to be Eskimo right now. And it's supposed to be Eskimo now on through. March used to go bananas. But right now, it's with. This supposed to be winter, winter, winter. Like this supposed to be super winter right now. You're supposed to have on layers. It's January. No. Everybody today was telling me it's cold. Listen, it's the middle of January. Hey, White Flame. Everybody, when I went out early, everybody said, ooh, it's cold, it's cold. Hey, they were supposed to have been and said that weeks ago, wasn't it? They said in the middle of January, they said something that we be saying at the beginning of January. This is the first time it's cold. They talking about, ooh, it's cold. I said, something ain't right. It was supposed to have been like this today. Hey, White Flag, the weather today, that's supposed to have been happened. You know what I'm saying? It's late. I'm like, hey, listen, White Flame would tell you, this ain't even the real cold. When he was little, him and his friends, well, they'll be outside playing in this. It's cold, but not White Flame cold. He'll still be outside in this. This ain't the weather to stop us from coming outside. We be outside right now with our nose running and stuff. Chicago had weather with nobody outside. We ain't had nobody outside weather yet. People still out there walking around. Man, Chicago got weather where ain't nobody outside. Exactly. Ain't nobody, man, Chicago have weather where you like you're on the moon. Where nobody's outside. You can't make a snowball because the snow ain't gonna stick and it's just too cold. Gloves won't work. Only thing that work is like leather mittens with fleece in them. Like you gotta dress in a mechanic zip up, you gotta put on so many layers. Ain't nobody going out there in that. And nothing protect your feet. I mean, unless you get now, they probably got stuff protect your feet. But back when me and White Flames coming up, you had to go recharge because ain't nothing gonna stop your toes from getting cold. I just standing on that ice. Your feet be freezing. Hey, White Flame, they don't know nothing about taking your socks off and your socks just be like this. Your socks don't bend or nothing. When you slide it off, you can almost stand that mug up. The foot part stay like this. Hey, y'all don't know nothing about that. When you take the sock off, it's like still a foot in it. And it's 2 pair, maybe 3 pair. And it'd be like you could stand them up like a boot. They don't know nothing about that. Hey, it was so cold that one day we went to pick my daddy up from work and he come get in the car. And my mom said, what's wrong with you? He said, one of the guys came in there and his ear got frostbit. He said, can't work. He said, he rubbed his ear and the ear fell on the ground. Ear broke, fell off. The man went to rub his ear and it fell on the ground. The whole ear broke. Y'all don't know. Listen. One time Chicago was like 27 below zero. This is why I left to go to Hawaii. And I got the queen and we got some kids and we don't got nothing. So I got to go to the store. I'm from Chicago. I'm finna go Eskimo. So White Flag, I put on a whole bunch of stuff. I put on a snowsuit. I put on my mittens. And I put on a couple hats and I wrapped everything up. And all I got to do is wait for the bus to come, get on the bus. I'll be all right. It's going to take me down to Jules. The bus, that's where the bus turn around at. So if I go in Jules right quick and come out, the bus going to still be sitting there, drop me back up. I walk home. White Flag. All my body is covered except right here. I'm walking to the bus and I could feel a circle right here where my head was freezing solid right through here. And I'm telling you, if that bus didn't come, I would have had to run back home because it could have killed me. Where it froze. The only piece of skin I had was right here, and it froze it solid through. I've never experienced nothing like that. Before that or after that. It froze my head solid right here. And the bus cat I was so happy to see that bus because I was like, I shouldn't have came out here in this. Because it felt like it would kill me. Nothing could be touched but that one spot. No wonder they got the ski mask where that spot's covered. And man, I never forget it, man. It was a solid piece of ice. I could feel it. Where this was turning to solid ice all the way, like penetrating. Like an icicle back this way into my brain. I was like early 20. I'll never forget that. That's when I realized, I was like, okay, I'll never do 27 below. I'll never do that again. I never do that again. We should just drink some water. I could have found something in there that we could have did something. I'll never forget that. It was horrifying. I had myself covered perfect in just one little spot. That was a lesson. Just this was. I had a face mask and everything, but this one little spot froze solid through. Man, I was so glad to see that bus. But yeah, my daddy came in the car and he said the man went in work and did that and the ear fell on the ground. They had to call the ambulance, pick his ear up, take him back to the hospital, see if they could reattach it. In Chicago, it be so cold, you got no gloves on. When it be below zero like that, your finger just fall off. Your finger just fall off right here, this part. I just fall off. It'll just break like glass. Like people understand frost, right? No, I didn't get a headache because it was froze. It was froze. I can't explain it to you. It's like somebody got a machine to touch you there and freeze it all the way through. That's what it was like. It was frightening. That's one of the most scariest things I ever experienced because I couldn't believe it. I don't know why 27 below. Duh. That's like Antarctic. I mean, if I was young, I was 20. I don't know. That was stupid. I should have had everything wrapped up. I shouldn't have had no skin exposed. I would have been kind of all right. The rest of me was kind of all right because I had on my stuff I wear snowmobiling. But I had just one. I never forget that. Boy, I said, if this bus don't come, I don't got nothing to cover this up. I wasn't sure if I could make it back to my apartment building. Yeah, they wear ski goggles. That's what I should have had on. I wasn't sure if I could make it back to my apartment building. It had got that froze. By the time I would have walked in that cold back then, ain't no time I might have passed out there and froze to death. I could have just passed out. It could have froze. It felt like it would freeze my brain. That's what it felt like. Like my brain was going to freeze. It was the type of cold like in one of them chambers where they could put something in there and freeze it immediately. That was like 27 below. And my dumb ass went out there. I could have died out there. I knew that was cold, so I put on a whole bunch of stuff. But I didn't realize that one spot was the only thing open. And it froze a solid circle into my brain You can feel it like a block. You can feel it like a circle of ice going back. You can feel it. You can feel like a cold going like that. Imagine this my brain, this my head, and you can feel a cold. You can feel a circle growing like that, freezing, like a circle freezing, like a movie. Boy, that was scary. I ain't never experienced nothing like that. So when I lived on the west side, that was scary. That would definitely go on my top five most scariest moments. Cause you ever been where you could tell you finna die. That's what that was that. That was clear. You finna die. If something don't happen, you got it's like you got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes because it got cold. But when it got to a point where it was only 2 minutes left. I'm saying it had been getting cold from me walking all the way there. So by the time I got to the bus stop, it had started. And I probably had 2 minutes. The bus came in like 15, 17 seconds after that. I don't know what would have happened if that bus didn't came because it already got too cold to walk back. I probably would have just put my mitten up there like that. That's probably what I would have did. I would have figured something else. I probably would have put my mitten to my head and ran my ass back home. That would have probably stopped it from being so bad. I probably would have turned my mitten on the fleece, a little bit of the fleece side, put it up against there and ran my ass home. I'm sure I would have figured out something. Man, that was terrifying. And that wind was blowing 20 something below, and the wind blowing 20 something below, wind chill factor. And the wind was, that was like Mr. Freeze from Batman touched my head. That shit was scary as hell. Anyway, let me let y'all go. And we'll have more conversations at another time. Y'all stay positive though. But yeah, get your winter stuff together. Definitely get some masks. Even if you don't wear them, just stock them up on them. Because people definitely gonna get sick. A lot of bad stuff is gonna happen, and I don't like to scare people, but you could tell. You could tell we in a dark place. You could tell. You can feel it. It's just too much negativity. It's just too much. And to the point where they're just shooting people, and with YouTube and all that, you can just see all that stuff. It's too much. Like somebody just told me they just shot somebody else up there. It's crazy. I'm gonna look into that. I might come and talk about it, depending. But yeah, stay positive and get you a bunch of masks. If you got money, order a whole bunch. Order 1,000, 2,000. Make sure they wrapped up good. And put them in the basement or put them somewhere. You're definitely gonna need them within the next 36 months. Family members might need them or something. Because we got all kind of problems coming. And that's just the winter problems. And the summer problems, we're going to have serious flea, tick, lice problems. Serious. Because they got them new ticks and they spreading because of global warming. They got them ticks now when they bite you. You'll become allergic to meat. And they spreading. And the animals is spreading too because of the global warming. So the animals is moving somewhere where they don't be. That's going to be crazy, man. We're going to look up, it's going to be bears in Chicago. Watch. And the deers is coming further, so they got them crazy ticks on them. Them ticks is spreading like crazy. I'll tell you something else. I'm going to let y'all go. For the last 2 years, there have been these fruit fly and gnat invasions. I'm talking billions of gnats. I first noticed it about 7 years ago at another place I live in. Nate, I came in the living room in the kitchen, and there was my whole ceiling was covered with gnats. And I had noticed it outside where I used to walk my dog, and it was just I walked through this. When I walk in the dog park, it was just a cloud of gnats, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And that next day or that night, they came into my apartment, and it was on the whole ceiling. I had to get the vacuum cleaner to get them down. Then I haven't seen it, but I didn't live over there no more. But now this past year, in this location, they've been in the whole building. I don't know if the fruit flies are gnats, but it's an invasion of them. Like it's not normal how many of them it is. So I've been having to put the apple cider vinegar with the dish detergent and a couple drops of dish detergent and the apple cider vinegar in a jar and put a plastic top on a rubber band, then poke holes in it with an ink pen, and they'll all go in there. But it'll be hundreds. I have to keep changing it. It'll trip you out. You should see how many hundreds of gnats be at in the plastic cup in the apple cider vinegar. And I'm like, where the hell they coming from? They all in the store. They all in the hallways. They everywhere. I read certain articles say they coming from all these birds that's dying on Lake Michigan. Oh man, it's getting crazy. We'll talk about it though. Y'all stay positive. Definitely get you some masks though. And definitely wrap your face up. Don't catch this new flu. Do not catch this new flu. I don't know if they're trying to sell a flu shot or if it's real. But don't take no chances. Don't take no chances. Victory.